Concerts are canceled. A lot of them. With large gatherings limited or prohibited due to the coronavirus, many artists are now performing online for free. This change has upended the live music business. The industry was on track to generate nearly $30 billion this year before the pandemic hit. Now, analysts project a 75% drop in global revenue, down to $6.5 billion. With the industry in crisis, artists and producers are reimagining concerts, but without crowds. And some of these new shows are already attracting millions of fans globally.
Going to a concert and being in a big crowd, that's one live experience, but doesn't mean that it's the only live experience.
Now the question is whether they'll also be able to bring in the cash. In 2019, live music was the second biggest revenue driver for the music industry. Mark Mulligan, a music business and technology analyst, says it hasn't always been that way.
It wasn't until we got to the end of the 90s and throughout the 2000s when music piracy hit the music business. At that time, for every dollar lost, the live music industry gained a couple of dollars. And we saw that, live music thrived and became this hugely professional business we've got now.
Now with the coronavirus pandemic, many in the industry fear that smaller concert promoters and venues may be forced to close, while others could be acquired by large concert promoters like Live Nation.
We saw a complete hit on the revenues of the big live companies, but also crucially, music artists have spent years seeing live music as a main source of income, and that just stopped. And it's a change which is probably going to take up to 3 years for us to fully recover from.
With much of the world still on pause, artists and promoters are getting creative. Big names like John Legend, as well as indie artists, are turning to homespun live shows as a means to continue performing. The Versus Instagram live series of beat battles, where hip-hop legends face off, has garnered over 17 million live views. But it's not replacing concerts as a source of revenue.
The vast majority of live streamed events and virtual events as a whole at the moment are free. And that is something that needs to be fixed because artists need the income. They can't afford what used to be their main income source to become a free product in its digital domain.
One way the industry is selling tickets right now is through DriveIn Concerts. These shows have started popping up around the world, in Denmark, Germany, Croatia, South Korea, and in the United States. They're providing a way for fans to see artists in person from the safety of their cars. But tickets for these shows aren't running cheap. In Denmark, Mads Langer's June drive-in concerts cost the equivalent of $98 per car. The shows can sell up to 500 tickets.
Even with social distancing measures in place, something as safe as a drive-in, you've still got a question of what does it do to the live experience itself? We will see a realignment of what live music is worth to consumers and therefore a realignment of what you can charge for different types of events.
The pandemic has fueled other innovations like multiplayer video game concerts. On April 23rd, more than 12 million Fortnite players attended Travis Scott's 10-minute virtual performance, the game's biggest event ever. Instead of selling traditional tickets, the production sold merchandise, and fans could buy in-game upgrades. Fortnite's developer, Epic Games, didn't confirm whether the event was profitable or not. Shortly after the concert, they launched a new feature called Party Royale, where users can virtually hang out and listen to live sets with artists like Steve Aoki, Dylan Francis, and Deadmau5.
Within the next year or two, not in the distant future, we're going to see a lot more in-game concerts. Some of the record labels are already hiring people to be able to actually program their artists into games. The record labels are going to be seeing it as a revenue source where they can start licensing the performances of their artists, much in the same way as they license music to streaming services.
Mulligan says these alternative performances can become a lucrative avenue for the music industry, even after the pandemic subsides and live in-person concerts fully return.
We've got brands sponsoring some live streams, we've got some artists charging. At the moment it's nearly all free. But we'll see the emergence of more paid options. Live streaming is going to be the thing that people do most. Games might be the one that generates the most engagement and the most revenue though.
Analysts say that this is a moment where rapid innovation is leading the industry into a new era.
We'll have virtual music concert booking agents. We might have agencies just there to make avatars for artists to appear in games. So yes, it's going to be tough. Yes, some people are going to struggle, but we're also going to see the emergence of a new, innovative live music industry.